Thank you so much, Casale. Yes, I knew Jorge would be first. Jorge, just yeah, show yourself and unmute. We're waiting for your question.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Yes, thank you very much both for these excellent presentations. I have always a question regarding the business model, because sometimes we are putting first the technology and second the problem. But for me, it's very important to first go into the problem and later go to the technology to resolve this problem. And in this case, we are really interested in the business model. And according to my thought is that, for example, if you want to control, or you want to manage the ships from the shipping companies are more comfortable controlling the ships instead of other companies providing this service. And my question specifically is regarding the business model and the investment or the CapEx that, for example, a shipping company should make in order to have these remote operation centers. I only have a figure from Voscolis in Aberdeen, UK, that they were mentioning £4 million for 18 months of operations for a remote operation center with ROPS. I don't know if you have some estimation about what will be the capex for the shipping company in the situation that they want to invest in these solutions. Any thought on that? It's difficult, the question, but it's very important for me to understand how to introduce this concept into the business model of the shipping company. Thank you.
Ville.
Yeah, I can take this. This may not be the concrete answer that you want to hear, but I'll start with it depends, because it completely depends on the kind of customer needs. For example, it depends on redundancy requirements. So how much redundancy you need to build to the remote operations center. What type of operations it's being managed, what type of capabilities you need, and so on. But the rule of thumb obviously is that the more vessels you have to under one remote operation center's scope, of course the less it will cost to run per vessel in a way. So and I think as also the hardware solutions are still developing, so it's it really depends. What's of course is not making it any cheaper is that the price of hardware like memories, GPUs, CPUs, they've been doubling, tripling during the past 6 months due to the AI boom, for example. So it really, you need to take a look at the customer requirements, the operations, what type of rules and regulations we need to fulfill, and so on. So of course, we should always try to find the most cost-efficient solution, towards the actual kind of needs of the customers of operation. But what we can see, with some of the business cases, if you think about Reach, for example. So the crew reduction is so huge that it will sort of allow some capex and other investments as well. So again, it really depends. That's at least how we sort of what we have learned in our projects. But the exact number is really hard to give, because there's so many sort of factors there.
And are you open for retrofit, or you only concentrate on newly built solution vessels?
Both. So of course, if the vessels are very old, that they have analog CCTV technology and that type of stuff. So then of course the sort of investment for the retrofit can simply be so high for certain older vessels that it doesn't simply make sense. But and then of course it depends on the maritime segment a lot as well, because if you think about kind of huge ocean-going vessels with two-stroke diesel engines and so on, so you will probably never get them fully uncrewed, for example. So it there's so many sort of different nuances between the different maritime segments and categories, and customers' operational profiles. That's why it's saying also that it always needs a quite thorough discussion with the customers, that what are the true needs, how we sort of how should they organize their remote operations, what should be their manning in the remote operations center, because that can be also a seasonality question. So if you think about kind of passenger traffic in the Nordic countries, for example, like mid-July, everybody's in the sea, sailing, kayaking, or whatever. Take like mid-February, there's nobody. The vessels go in kind of through an ice path in a way. So it also depends really on the even seasonality impacts how what type of manning you need to have in the remote operation center and so on. So again, it really depends.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? I have one question about security of the data, because I know a lot of data are being exchanged one way or another. Inland waterways in one way, and the short sea shipping in another. Can you describe what kind of technologies for the data exchange you're using, and what about what's your view about the security of the data and potential hazards to navigation?
Maybe in inland waterway transport, I can add a little bit there. So we use actually encrypted data transfer, making sure that it's not easily target for attacks. We also use threat modeling solutions, making sure that cybersecurity wise we are respecting all different rules. So these are the main things we consider, but also we consider redundant data transfer. So in case of losing one line, we can actually have trusted other line to ensure safe data transfer and accessibility of all the camera streams for the remote operators.
Yeah, I can concur that there, and what I think is very important is that, like in the different remote operations scenarios, so you take a holistic view on cybersecurity, because you have obviously the vessel, you have connectivity, you have the remote operation center that need to work seamlessly together, and there's like attack vectors from all of those main points, and then some. So we need to keep your cybersecurity practices and tools and systems kind of constantly up to date, which adds to the challenge obviously. And then also, so one thing that is very important, especially for uncrewed vessels, is the fallback plan. So what if something happens that is not that's unwanted in a way. So what happens then? In different scenarios. So what does the vessel do? Does it lower the anchor? Does it seek to the safest port, or what? So this kind of plan Bs are also highly important, that at least have them. But I would just like to kind of still emphasize on the holistic nature of cybersecurity, because obviously you have your weakest link can be in multiple places, not just in the vessel, but with connectivity or in the rock. So.
Tomasz.
So Tomasz, you're muted.
Thank you. I raised this question as we will have another seamless webinar on the 12th of May on cybersecurity. So if you're interested in this matter, please refer to that. But I also see that Mari also has a question, having a question here. Would you like to ask it yourself?
Yes, I can. Hello, my name is Mariah, and I'm from the Young Solar Challenge project that we run in the Netherlands. And I actually know Nancy personally as well. We run a project where students build their boat from wood where one person can sit in. They build their own technique in there, like the technician side, put solar panels on top of it, and we organize 3 races for them. And it's almost like a mini company, which they have to run from like a whole school year. And we, as the project managers, we prepare them basically for the next steps in their journey on to the next what school, which studies, and it can be on like the, not sure how to explain it in English, but it can be like on a bachelor degree or like a university, but also the lower below bachelor. So we're doing this since 14 years, and we are adapting already, and we're already looking into maybe an AI or an autonomous class within the Young Solar Challenge to prepare basically your personnel for the next generation. And I'm just wondering how you see it, and it's for both companies that presented. Which direction should we go? Because you already mentioned, Gazela, on the today's shipper or today's captain will be tomorrow's, like in a different way, still a captain, but on the shore. So yeah, let me know how you see this, like a bit more in depth.
Thank you very much, Maria, for the question. The project you mentioned sounds very cool and very interesting. And yes, human aspect is very important topic for us today, because we are facing 2 things actually. One of them is that shortage in crew, so not having sufficient captains to go on board. And when we talk about remote operations, then it's another challenge. So having the captains who are willing to work from a remote operations center. So it's a kind of unique profile. At the moment, the regulations require a licensed captain who can sail from a remote operations center. So we need to look for a captain who is also interested and motivated by technology, because there is a total difference in the way that they have been working. So the shift from working from onboard to sitting in the office and looking at the monitors is quite significant. So yeah, they are different profiles, and we aim that in long term we can have the remote operators to be trained from the beginning for remote operation. Talking with different maritime academies, we realize that some people who join the schools and are aiming to become on-board captains, after a while lose their interest because of difficult conditions of working on board. So it's very important to actually highlight this to them on the moment that they are making this decision, that there is also other way that you can remain in the world of maritime industry, and you can continue as a captain, but in a different way, in a way that you can work for 8 hours, you can have assistants at the office. So it's very important to make such awareness for the next generation of the remote operators.
Thank you.
You know, I think like if you think about the remote operations work in the future, so it's kind of made for the video gaming generation in a way. So you have lots of screens, you know, potentially lots of stuff happening at the once at the same time, and you need to sort of be in control of that situation. So it's kind of a video game like experience going forward. And I do also kind of agree and see there's the point that currently, remote operations need to be captains. But, when we sort of increase the degree of autonomy, with the vessels, for example, so hopefully the requirements also become a bit lower in a way, so that we can open the remote operation center related jobs to a wider sort of set of people, because that's typically what technology does that it lowers the threshold to enter a certain job, because you kind of work assisted, computer or AI assisted constantly. So
thank you as well.
Thank you so much for that. Just going back a little bit to Jorge's question as well. Jorge, we will also have this webinar on business models, so we come back to your questions sooner or later. But I see Giuseppe, you have a question as well. Can you jump in here to ask it yourself?
Yeah. Hello, Tomasz. Hello, everybody. No, the idea behind this this question is that maybe remote operations may require more intense data exchange during the port operations. So my question is if during the in the port areas operations are usually more complex, are more dynamic, and the maneuvering and approach to the berth could be more complex. So my question is to understand whether the port operation can create a higher technical and operational requirements, and if this is the case, whether strong digital infrastructures in ports like as a private 5G network or the next generation 6G could help to make remote operations more reliable and scalable.
If I may answer. Yeah, so in one project together with Liberty Global and Nokia, we actually looked into this topic. And what was the main challenge that we were trying to solve in that project was accurate data requirement in port areas. Because as we get into a port, there are more number of vessels, and it is very important to have high resolution camera streams. And imagine that in near future, there would be more number of vessels remotely operated or autonomous and requiring a lot of bandwidth. So if we want to rely on the current network which is available today, we cannot address the needs for the bandwidth for all these vessels, and they cannot all have the high resolution data. So if the camera streams go blurry or inaccurate or low resolution, then we will not have good view of the vessels in this surrounding the Ego vessel. So there would be a challenge for the remote operator to sail easily from the remote operation center. So in that project, we actually looked into one of the features of 5G technology, enabling the high bandwidth for a specific usage and also slicing, so that for the specific vessels which are sailing remotely, we can have reserved bandwidth. And they can use this feature, they can activate it by clicking a button and asking for higher bandwidth so that they can switch to high resolution camera streams in the port area. So today it's it's manageable because there are not so many vessels, but in future we would need that. And referring to the infrastructure in the port area, there we definitely need, for example, 5G, the 5G standalone base stations in the port area, enabling this switch to 5G standalone connection.
Thank you, Giuseppe, for that question. Ville, you have something to add here?
No, I think, like, obviously the more sort of urgent in a way the operation, the sort of more there is a need for robust and fast connection. Again, if you sail in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, you typically have, like, tens of minutes or hours to react. But again, if you are in the port, sort of docking the vessel, so clearly, you can't lose the connection and can't be slow. So because you need to be precise. So clearly you need more sort of or better connectivity solutions and faster connectivity solutions, at the port.
As we skipped a little bit the logistics connection here, we spoke about a little bit about this, but we also have the one of the webinars devoted to mooring systems and loading systems that are the part of a major part of the operations. And do you have some quick reflections, as we already passed the threshold? Do you have some reflections about this as well?
If I may, answer that. So one of the challenge that we face in fully remote operation solutions and increasing the operational hours is loading and mooring aspect. Why? Because, for example, in West Flanders, we have worked on a project where the vessel is fully unmanned, there is no one on board, and we sail to the area that there is a mooring needed. So there we need someone to drive to the location and moor the vessel. So imagine the day that we will have autonomous mooring solutions. Then we will not need anyone to drive there and enable that mooring in the area. Also on the loading side, we can have continued operations even during the night. But imagine that we arrive at the loading area and there is no one to take care of the loading. So the operation stops there until the moment that the loading operator is back, and they can continue with the loading of the vessel. So in this way, the operational hours will not meet its maximum capacity. So these are the things that we have faced over the past years. And we, of course, support the automated mooring solutions and loading solutions, which would also increase the operational hours.
Thank you so much. Ville, would you like to add on that?
Well, just obviously it's an important area as well, and the more efficient we can make the whole chain, so the better for the operators in that chain. Yeah. Just quickly about that.
Yes, we will be definitely going back. We will be getting back on this in the future. Very short future, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for your engagement, Ville, Ghazaleh, and everybody who contributed. We're glad to have you here, and yes, stay tuned for more seamless workshops and webinars. Definitely, some interesting ones are becoming. On the 12th of May, there's cybersecurity. So if you're interested, please stay tuned. Meanwhile, thank you so much and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.